One of the many gifts of my time here in Memphis at Temple Israel, which is coming up on 2 years, is that I had the opportunity to serve a community that I had known for quite some time. I got to know many wonderful folks from the Memphis Jewish community during my time at Camp Barney Menetz, as well as my involvement in BBYO. And some of my friends from that time are actually here with us in the congregation this evening. So for them, they knew me around an age beginning of freshman or sophomore year. And if you had asked me in 9th or 10th grade who my favorite musical artists were, I would venture to guess that towards the top of my list would be a rapper and producer named Kanye West. I've seen him perform 3 times. And his music has been a constant soundtrack to so many folks in my generation as we've grown into adulthood. And there is no doubt the significant impact that Kanye has made on music and pop culture in his long career. Many still say he is a musical genius. He has also, in recent years, revealed himself to be not only mentally unstable, but more specifically, a virulent anti-Semite. Over the past year or so, Kanye has spouted vile anti-Semitism and conspiracy theories on a wide array of social media platforms which have allowed his voice to be heard by millions. All of this culminated with a new music video released on May 8th for a song literally titled Heil Hitler. And this video shows Kanye along with a group of dancers performing a Nazi salute. Now, many organizations and individuals were quick to rightfully condemn Kanye's latest bout of anti-Semitic vitriol. And there are those, like well-known podcaster and comedian Joe Rogan, who inexplicably defended Kanye and his viewpoints. But there has also been a third camp. Namely, those who have dismissed this outburst or even thought nothing of it. Those who would say, well, everyone knows Kanye is out of his mind. No one takes him seriously anymore. This is just another cry for attention. While that may be true for many of us, there are so many more who continue to view him as an icon and have no hesitation adopting his views as their own. And there are still others who may not be fans of his music or his persona, but feel emboldened in their own anti-Semitic beliefs by seeing them reflected by a well-known celebrity. What many don't realize, but we here all know too well, is that words have power. The power of words to create worlds, to heal, and to harm is well attested to in our tradition. The ancient Jewish mystics believed that each letter of the Hebrew alphabet served as building blocks for the creation of the world. Linguistically, the Hebrew word davar, related to the verb ledaber, meaning to speak, can mean both word or a thing, an object. Famously, God's creation of the universe began with speech. Beyond our traditional texts, our people knows all too well the power that words, stories, sayings, slogans, and yes, conspiracy theories can have on people's thoughts and actions. We have felt their impact for centuries. The same is true today. Whether we are speaking of Kanye or of the tragedies that ensue when hateful ideologies reach the ears and hearts of people who allow them to fuel their violent urges. The truth of the frightening power of words knows no bounds and transcends political allegiances. And the events in Washington, D.C. this week have served as a tragic reminder of this very fact. This Shabbat, we mourn alongside the whole of the Jewish people the the murder of two bright young souls, Sarah Milgram and Yaron Lashinsky, and killed in an act of anti-Semitic terrorism in our nation's capital. This loss continues to be felt by so many, and just earlier today, I learned of our own community's connection to Sarah, who was a close college friend of a child of this congregation and a former student of another member of our extended community. The nearness of this loss speaks to a truth we know but often neglect, one that Miriam will actually be teaching us this upcoming Monday, which is that Kol Yisrael arevim ze lazeh. All Jews are responsible for one another. We are tied together in our joys and in our sorrows. The ties that bind us to one another are such a blessing, but for many, and particularly those who feel disconnected from the people around them, it is seen as an opportunity for mass intimidation. The truth is that Yaron and Sarah's murderer arrived at the Capitol Jewish Museum with one purpose and one purpose only: to kill Jews. Motivated by the most violent and extreme elements of the movement advocating for Palestinian self-determination, the shooter saw this murder of members of our people as an act of liberation, a just act. Such a tragedy speaks to the power of words and serves as a call to all of us, regardless of political persuasion, to acknowledge and combat anti-Semitism no matter where it appears, whether it holds tiki torches and chants slogans like "Jews will not replace us," or instead chants "death to Israel," or calls to globalize the Intifada. Let me be clear. I do not mean to say that advocating for the rights and dignity of Palestinians is in itself an act of anti-Semitism. All groups of people and their allies should have the freedom and ability to advocate for themselves. This is one of the many lessons our people have learned in our journey through history, that we must advocate for our rights and for our lives because we know that all too often no one else will. The same must be true for other groups as well. What I wish to convey is that we must not become desensitized to the ways in which anti-Semitism can seamlessly take root in the rhetoric of political movements, whether they lean more towards the left or more towards the right. We must not accept latent or blatant anti-Semitism in our political camps simply because they more closely align with our own views. And we cannot neglect the rise in anti-Semitism these past few years because we know all too well how quickly anti-Semitic words turn into anti-Jewish violence. And we know all too well the heartbreak and the loss that comes in their wake. I want to assure all of you that here at Temple Israel, security is a top priority. Under the leadership of Executive Director Mark Gollner and Director of Security Daryl LaRiviere, and in collaboration with our community partners at Memphis's Secure Community Network, we are constantly assessing and upgrading our security to ensure that our community members, congregants, and staff are protected. Many of you may have noticed new security checkpoints in the building and wondered why they are necessary. The unfortunate reality is that the events of this week, and even those stretching back to the Tree of Life Synagogue in 2018, have taught us that we can never be too careful in our protocols. But I wish to conclude with a different set of words. If words have the power to harm, they also have the power to heal and to bring hope. This week we conclude the book of Leviticus and prepare to begin the book of Numbers. And it is a long-standing custom that upon completing a book of the Torah, we recite the 3 words, chazak, chazak, v'nitchazek. Of course, as is the case with many Jewish rituals, there are many theories as to how this particular phrase came into being or came to be used in moments such as this. But I think what might be even more powerful on this Shabbat is taking a look at where these words come from. In the 2nd book of Samuel, chapter 10, we read of a battle fought by Yoav, King David's nephew, and the commander of his army, about to be pinned in on both sides, or perhaps we might say from the right and from the left. Yoav divides his troops, placing half under the command of his brother and the other half under his own command. Before leaving, he says to his brother, Chazak v'nitchazek, let us be strong and resolute for the sake of our people and the cities of our God. And it is this call, these words of strength and courage that I hope we carry us more than any on this Shabbat. So if you'll please repeat after me, Chazak, Chazak, v'nitchazek. We may think these are just words, but they are not. In speaking them, we bring more strength into the world for ourselves, for our community, and for our people. In speaking them, we create a new reality, one that says to everyone that we are strong, and that together our strength will outlast and withstand the words and actions of hatred that seek to intimidate us. Chazak, chazak, v'nitchazek. May we be strong and may we be strengthened by one another. And let us say, Amen.